goodness, my seeds of Silvertree. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I feel so happy to be here. This is Silvertree here. Welcome to Runes of Silvertree. May this message find you well and whole. Let's get started. So the title of this video or this message for you today is Liberation Now, Great Expectations and Emotional Intimacy. Liberation Now, Great Expectations and Emotional Intimacy. This is the love reading for this month of August. We're in the high season of the wild deer medicine. And something in me, after speaking to someone very close to me yesterday that I trust, a very wise person, was giving me some advice, and it was saying something about liberation and expectations, freeing yourself from expectations. And in meditation, I just really felt that very strongly to discuss this matter with you. So let's get started. So as you can see here, this is actually the rune of the deer, right? It is the crown of the deer, of the buck, okay? As you can see that, royalty, right? Meaning the wild deer medicine is the ruler of the heart, okay? Our emotional well-being, the language of source, okay? If you are not connected to the heart, you cannot, it's much harder to connect to anything else. To the heart of everything, to see the heart of everything, to feel the heart of everything. Okay, so let's dive into this symbol here. And this is inverted. Now you're probably wondering, why is the E inverted? Usually it's come out like this, upright, meaning caution, because you're walking around. Deers are very cautious in how they walk, where they walk, when they walk, right? Even why they walk. They're really cautious beings. And then I usually have this meaning, the deer is with us right now. Meaning, I just bumped into the antler there, moving very quickly in fast-paced motion. But what I am envisioning right here when it comes to holding great expectations and, what was it? Yeah, an emotional intimacy. So here, this holds a lot of emotion, right? A lot of emotion. And usually we get, if you can imagine yourself as the deer, or imagine yourself as the giver of emotion. And you're pouring a cup into another cup, right? You're pouring all of yourself into someone else. And that person is pouring all of themselves into you. Right? And so you have this beautiful exchange, which we have this word in English called love, right? Where it's this phenomena, it's this chemical, spiritual, metaphysical phenomena, this thing, this event that happens between two people or more people. And the thing is that what has been bubbling up for me, even in my own personal path, is expectations. And that's funny because expectations, when you see the letter E here, right? Expectations. If you ever read the book, The Great Expectations, you should actually really read that. It's a good story, cautionary tale. It's like follow your own heart, not the heart of another person is telling you how to follow your heart, and then they're being very misleading and misguiding. So anywho, let's get back on the subject here. So when we are pouring ourselves into another person, we enter in this space of sacrifice, right? We sacrifice our time, we sacrifice our energy, we sacrifice our other passions for this other person. And so then, in all this giving, we subconsciously hold or begin to hold this person to a very high standard. Incredibly high, right? We put them on a pedestal. We don't mean to. All this stuff is it's subconscious. That water energy is a very subconscious but yet very powerful and influential energy. And, so we hold this person to such a high esteem. And the fact that, as a human being, we don't, we hold them so high that when they fall or they don't reach that level, then they failed us in some way, right? They fail us. They fail us in all aspects. And that's when bickering and anger, resentment and frustrations and irritability come into play. And we begin to pull away or push back. Some people push the other person even more because that person isn't meeting that standard. And I have to be honest, I have issues with it. I push harder, and I'm learning to just pull back a little bit. Allow the love, allow the growing in love space. In order for anything to grow, it needs space to breathe. The roots need some time to germinate the seed germinate, and the roots need time to get deep into the soil to receive the nutrients here, in order to have a strong foundation. And so with our great expectations, when they're not met, emotionally met, we become emotionally bankrupt. We become emotionally fatigued, and the thing is that the reason why we have such great expectation for another is because we hold ourselves to that level as well. And I'm asking myself in the past couple of days, like, what, Naja, why, where is this coming from? This need to reach this level intellectually, spiritually, intimately, physically. What's the point in all this? Right? And the thing is, when you hold your lover to such a high, grandiose expectation, it robs you from the present. You take the preciousness of what is so beautiful out of the connection, and it becomes dry. It becomes frail. It becomes blah. There's no sparkle. The person then feels this heaviness, and they feel heavy. There's this division here as well, right? Like both of you just pull each other down rather than raising each other up on a strong foundation. And so, as a lover, be aware of this. This happens so much in new relationships, and it takes one to know one. Yes, it takes one to know one. So I'm being a little transparent, not too much, because this is YouTube. But it takes one to know one, and I'm saying this coming from personal experience. A lot of the time, when you meet someone new, and it's a new, beautiful seed of love that both are nurturing, we then have all the great expectations that all of our other previous lovers have failed miserably, okay? And we take that experience and we're like, well, this time this person's gonna meet it, because we are like, like salt and pepper. We're like, I literally just said that. Okay. We're like salt and pepper. We're like a peanut butter and J, like it's, did I say peanut butter? PB and J. Oh my goodness. It's full moon today. But I'm asking you to just let it go. And this another thing that that was shared with me the other day is the importance of developing emotional intimacy and physical intimacy in a different way. Approaching intimacy without expectations. And that is very difficult when one has had very heavy life experiences. That like it's all that you know and you don't know any different. You never felt any different. You never tried anything different. Thus, you're sticking to what you know. And that's the safest way to go. But we all know, wow, a lot of rhyming, but we all know that water doesn't work that way. Water energy is not, I'd say, very, it doesn't offer you foundation. It offers you flow. And the importance of that, so, deepening emotional intimacy by, yes, eye gazing. I used to be, and there's another word, E-Y-E, okay? Eye gazing. It used to creep me out, that practice. I had my first experience with that when I moved out to the Southwest a few years ago. And, you take, you're in like a group setting, and it can be with a lover, friend, or same sex. It didn't really matter, but it just was so intimidating. And this person just like all smiley and just staring in your eye. And personally, I have, a lazy eye, and and so like obviously I'm really I was subconscious about it, because I'm like, oh my God, like, this person just staring into my soul, and one eye, mother eye is doing its own thing, and that's just the mind, right? But I'm gonna personally try it out. I'm gonna, see if my partner's open to it, and and I'm wondering, leave a comment below if this is a practice that you feel like you resonate with, and that you let me know how it goes. I'm curious, because the eyes never lie. It's a beautiful way to connect with someone physically. It's a way to really see them and feel them without all the mumbo jumbo expectations that need to be met. So I, for one, I'm gonna work on myself. Like, I took this day just to self-reflect on where I'm at emotionally with certain things in my life. And sometimes you do need that, when you're in a partnership, to just, take the space. You're still together. You still, you're down. But take the space. Go in another separate room and just meditate, or just create alone. It's okay, to connect with the self and to be grounded in that. To check in with you, check in with your emotions. So, I'm going to leave you today with that. Look into your lover's eyes and really see them. Not what you want from them, not what you need from them, not what you desire from them even. It's just tune into them. What do you see? Do you see fear? Do you see excitement? Do you see hesitation? Do you see avoidance? Or feel, I should say. Do you feel these things from them? Do you feel anger? Do you feel frustration when you look into their eyes? Because when you look into their eyes, you'll see yourself. Not just their body, not just how they can please you and how they can serve you, what you can get out of them. And I mean, relationships are part of all those things, but the best thing I know is that when you have eye contact with someone, it's harder for them to betray how they really feel. When you're looking into someone's eyes and you keep eye contact with them, and you're speaking to them and you're listening, you're not speaking to them, you're speaking with them when you're looking into their eyes. It's very easy to speak at someone and not even engage, not even look at them. I've done it. You know, when I'm upset or irritated, or I was bothered by someone, or I wanted to avoid someone, I wouldn't engage in eye contact. Or it can be incredibly intimidating. I've looked in the eyes of a person that I didn't really, have a strong liking for, and I stood my ground. So there's a strength in keeping eye contact with people regardless. It's so important for the human collective. Just because we're wearing a muzzle over our face or a mask, we have to follow all these rules. Well, at least we have our eyes. Connect with the human, with your fellow humans. Look them in the eyes. Look at your enemy in the eye. Yes, the people you dislike, look them straight in the eye and really see them. See yourself. Look your friend in the eye. Look a stranger in the eye. Look at your lover in the eyes. And you will see yourself. And that's why it's hard sometimes when you're in a heated argument with someone and you're not really looking at them. Right? Because then when you take the time and you shut your mouth and you close your mouth and you grab their face and you get up close and you look into them, they can look into you. And it opens up the window, as they say, to the soul. It's a hard practice. It's not easy building this type of intimacy. It takes time, it takes patience and practice and consistency. But just showing up for another person in that way, it costs nothing. You don't have to buy a gift. You don't have to buy or spend money or convince them to do anything or manipulate. Just have them look at you and you look at them. And you'll see what you need to see. Source will show you what you need to feel and what you need to see and what you need to experience from them and they you. And that's where I'm going to end this message. Thank you so much for listening in and tuning into Runes of Silvertree, my dear seeds of Silvertree. May this message find you well and whole. Thank you.